in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true.
You want to talk here to Osman, who's standing outside of this castle here. So you talk to Osman, and I've already spoken to him, but you can go through all of these options about Sorceress Garden. I like where do I get squirts, all of this. Make sure you talk to Osman first, this is very important. Okay, so after you've spoken to him and then about squirts and all this information, you want to go down south. So you keep on running south. Okay, once you walk down south, you want to go slightly east, so I'll just show you that on the world map very quickly. So as you can see, we started over here, we spoke to Osman over here, where you get a mini game sign, we walk south and then slightly east into this building right here, with the transportation sign. So once you're here, you want to talk to the apprentice, and you're going to go through various options about the garden and one of the options, and you should be able to then teleport. So you teleport and you're here, but you have 4 gardens, one north, one east, one south, one west. These are all different gardens, but the one you want to use for beginning of farming is this, the winter garden. So your goal is to get towards the squirt tree. So like if I click from here to get to the squirt tree, you just don't want to get caught by these things. As you can see, I've clicked on pick the squirt tree, and I'm going to get caught by this over here. And no, I didn't. So that is actually quite interesting. So you can do that, and you see how I got 30 farming XP for that. So you actually get 30 farming XP for that. So this is one of the methods for beginning level 1 to 15 of farming. This should take you about 2 hours if you were to do this method. Okay, so in order to rake patches, you will need a rake. So make sure you bring a rake. It's one of the essential items for farming. If you don't have one, make sure you get one, and then store all of the tools you can into the tool leprechaun, as I'm doing in the video now. So you just click exchange, and you can store all of those tools in, as well as compost and buckets and whatnot. So luckily I had a rake in my for the tool leprechaun, and I just took that out and I used that. So all you want to do is click on the allotment. It will say rake allotment, and you should get 4 XP per weed that you rake. So you can see I did 2 weeds here, which is 8 XP, and so you just want to do that and repeat, and you can do it on the flower patch, you can do it on the herb patch, as I'm showing in the background, and you want to just do this and repeat this as much as you can. Okay, so just to make it easier, I'm at the Catherby farming patch, as I shown earlier. So to get here, you just want to teleport to Catherby or Camnot and walk down towards the patch, which is over here. And this is where you can find a farming store, so you can trade Vanessa, and she will have all of the required farming items. So I would advise you to buy a rake, buy a seed dibber, buy secateurs, spade, gardening trowel, watering can, and then sticking them all in to the tool leprechaun, and this will help you significantly. You can start off with some compost, but I recommend buying super compost. Okay, so I'd advise you to buy all of these and then trade or exchange with the tool leprechaun over here. Once you've exchanged with them, just store everything you possibly can so that you always have 1 item or 1 each, and then buy another set and keep that in your bank. So this is good if you ever forget. And what you have is a allotment patch. Obviously if there's weeds like here, you want to rake it, which you need a rake for. What you need to do is you need to click the seed, so for example if you're level 1 potato seed, and use it on the allotment. Once you've used that, you can then, so I'll quickly go and get some super compost, or compost in this case, or super compost, whichever one you have. And then what you do is you just use the super compost on the watermelon seed, like this. And that's it, don't worry about it. You can come back, I think it takes about 40 minutes. I'll leave a link to the description which shows the exact amount of time it takes for the items or whatever seed you plant to grow. And then you come back and you harvest it again. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how, after you've planted, so I've shown you how to plant, your whatever you grow, for example potatoes at the beginning stage, will be fully grown, and you can click harvest, and this will get you you use a spade for this. 55 XP obviously for watermelons, it will be less for potatoes, but that's all you do. So you just harvest and you let the game do the work, and when you have a full inventory you can use the potato or watermelon and use it on the tool leprechaun, and he will exchange it for some notes, and then go back and harvest your watermelon again. Okay, so you've grinded your way through the horrible low levels of farming. Hopefully the 3 methods that I've talked about in the video have helped you get to 26 farming or even higher. So at 26 farming you can do herbs, which I think Harrowlanders, I mean they're not very good money, but still for the XP that you get, they're probably worth doing. And so a herb run, this is what I used to do. In the beginning it's always hard to remember all the patches. I even put a picture in the video, but it's hard to remember, so I used to just have in my notes section the 5 locations. So I just write it down: Cathaby, Ardougne, Phasnalys, Zeah and Falador. And then you should have teleport methods for each. So in another video I will talk about all the perks and other items such as Explorer's Ring and Ardougne Cloak, which will help and make your runs more efficient. But for a beginner level, just find these locations and find the best teleport for each one. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my farm run. I'm going to start from here. So make sure you have secateurs, seed dibber and a spade. These are the 3 items I bring to every single farm run. And you just need to click on pick the herbs after they've grown. I will just clean my toad flax. So you need to find whichever herb makes the most profit, as I mentioned previously. So the Wikipedia page in the description should tell you that. So once you've harvested all of them, you just use your seed, toad flax seed on the herb patch, and then you can use super compost on the patch. But if you have lunas and you have 83 magic, you can just use fertile soil on the herbs, and that acts as super compost. So that's one patch done. I always note all of my herbs and I move on to the next one. The order is completely random at times. If you've got a cloak, you can use the Ardougne farm teleport, but if you don't, then you can just use Fishing Guild teleport on this book, on the Lunar Spellbook, 85 mage. If you don't have that, then you can just use an Ardougne teleport and then run up. Okay, and for trees, you can do trees or fruit trees. Trees are normally quite expensive, but they're actually very quick XP. Fruit trees are much cheaper, and I would really recommend doing the fruit trees. So I'm going to show you a fruit tree run and also a tree run. So the first one we're going to go to is you can use the spirit trees, or if you have a gnome pod or royal seed pod, it's easier to use that. You travel via spirit tree and you can start off by going to the gnome stronghold. So this is the first patch. Gnome stronghold, you have a fruit tree patch right here, and obviously mine has not grown yet, so you would pick up the papaya fruits from it, note the papaya fruits with the leprechaun, and then plant a new papaya tree and then super compost it and then move next. The next one is if you do travel spirit tree and you go to Tree Gnome Village. There's a tree patch here which I would go to normally, but just for this video I'm showing you the specific fruit tree locations, and you want to walk all the way west and squeeze through the railing and then follow Elkway. And then run south, and there's another patch here, inspect papaya tree, and you do the same thing here like this, use a seedling on it. Okay, so that's 2 out of 5 fruit trees. The next one I use as a teleport crystal, which gets you straight to the Llety Elf city, and you just run slightly east until you find the other patch, and once again you do the same thing here. So you pick your plants. You need an axe, by the way, that's important. You need an axe to chop it down, or you could pay 200 coins, but really it's quite convenient to just chop it down. But yeah, you can also pay 200 coins to remove it as well. So yeah, that's the third patch, and then I use the Brimhaven teleport. and run north. And so this will be the 4th tree. Okay, that's back to normal. And then the last one I use is a Catherby teleport. So you can use Camelot teleport, whatever teleport you have, to get here. And then I just run all the way east, so near the fishing spot. Then you have your last fruit tree. So that's all 5 of the fruit tree patches. The first one I like to do is I used to go Royal Seed Pod. I use my Royal Seed Pod and I go to the Gnome Stronghold. There you go. And then obviously you would break this patch. You would break it, and then you would plant your tree, magic sapling into it, and use super compost, and then move on to the next one. So the next one we're going to go to is, I like to go to Lumbridge. Okay, and then Lumbridge, once you're at Lumbridge, go through the castle. And there's another tree patch. So once again, just plant your seed like this, and then use your super compost or whatever on it over there. Then I like to go to Falador. So you should have all these teleports written down. And remember, I said the best way to remember this is actually just having it down on your notes, and then sort of not even having an order, just going through them one by one until you feel comfortable with all the locations, and then you can have your most efficient order. And here's another tree patch, so you use this tree patch. And then you can go Taverly. So I used a scroll of redirection on a house teleport to make this into a Taverly teleport. You can either move your house to Taverly and make it easier in that way. Okay, and that's the 4th tree patch, and the final tree patch is the one in Varrock, so you can change that to Varrock normal. Teleport straight to Varrock, and then run north. Automology in his guide, he has a very good idea. So what he does is he just buys his staffs, claims his battle staffs from the diaries, which can make about 50 to 100k a day depending on how many you get. And there's the 5th and final patch, and that will be a tree run done. And most trees, I think they take 8 hours, so you wait 8 hours and you repeat the process.